everybody, this is Waldorf.
And this is Statler.
And we're continuing our Army sneak peeks for 2.0, and this time with the Orcs and Goblins.
Orcs and Goblins are probably more appropriate than Goblins and Orcs.
Let's hope it turns out to be Orcs and Goblins.
Yes.
That would be nice if it got back to that. So anyway, let's see what we've got.
So we're on the ACS update thread, and it's the...
in the general forum?
In the general forum, thank you.
Correct.
If you want to see where these links are, and they're all tying to individual posts in the Orc forum, so this way you don't have to go hunting for them if you go there.
Yes, correct. Most of them are fairly easy to find, but some of them are kind of buried in threads.
Yeah, depends on the armies. I mean, some have good...
Right.
Makes it easy, some they're not. So as before, we're not going to go through all of the rationale and all of that. You can read that yourself.
Yep.
We're just going to talk about the changes themselves.
On this one, this was announcing Born to Fight. I'm going to skip it for now because it ended up changing from what they released. When they released, well, might as well go over it. Whatever. When they released it, it was +1 strength and +1 AP in the first round of combat. And that effect persisted until the unit lost the previous round of combat. So basically, you kept your +1 strength until you lost combat, which they had at one point. That was, I think, 1.2 or something.
Yes,
one
yes.
version had that.
Yeah.
But anyway, they changed that, and we'll get to that one a little bit later.
Yes. So this is... Someone noticed that it might be a little much.
Correct. They thought it might be a little bit much, so they took it away. You know. Anyway.
Okay.
So here's the magic item. So here is the list of magic items they released, which I think, I don't know, who knows if they're all of them or not.
I'm sorry, are these trinkets?
They are magic items. See, look, right there. Magic items.
Right, I'm looking below that. Trinket.
There's nothing up there that says trinkets.
Trinket.
You know, that word does say trinket, doesn't it? Anyway, the Pan of Protection Pension. They haven't put points, of course. The bearer, when wounded, may use the armor save, ward save, regen save, and magic resistance of the model that inflicted the wound. So this is exactly what it was before, except for one small detail. This used to be a goblin-only item.
Yes.
If that stays the way it is, I'm going to be liking this even more. I've loved this item. I think this item is awesome.
It's a fun item.
So anyway,
yeah, it'll be interesting if they open it up to
orcs as well.
Orcs as well, yeah.
Yeah, could be interesting.
Then you have Mikanok's Totem. It's a banner. Oh, these are all out of order. Banner enchantment. At the beginning of a combat, pick one weapon enchantment, armor enchantment, banner enchantment, or trinket in an enemy unit in base contact with the bearer's unit. Until the end of the combat phase, it stops working or reverts to its mundane version. Now, you have to remind people that there's going to be a lot more units with banners. The whole veteran standard bearer looks like it's gone away. So we're assuming it's going to be easier to get these things. This could be quite potent.
It could be, and it's better than it used to. Well, it's both better and worse than it used to be. This was the item that used to shut down all magic in your unit and the unit you were in contact with. Now it's selective.
Correct.
So in that way, it's better. Of course, it is. This was I saw this as being a kind of a favorite on the Iron Orcs.
Yes.
They're you know, if no one's using magic against them, they're fairly decent.
Yep.
So, anyway. So
this is a nice item for you to build your Death Star with.
Correct. Next thing we have the Flask of Troll Ale. The bearer gains Troll Vomit attack, special close combat attacks, auto hit, a strength 5 AP 10 auto hit at its own initiative. So basically you're gaining a strength 5 AP 10 auto hit.
What kind of magic item is this?
I don't know.
Oh, it's a trinket.
No, it's a enchanted item.
Yeah. So it's going to depend on how many points this thing is.
Yeah. And then I saw a discussion below, and it seemed to indicate that this is in addition, not replacing your attacks.
I would assume so. Otherwise, no one will take it.
Correct.
Well, you might put it on a mage.
That's true, because it's an auto hit strength.
Exactly.
Strength 5 AP 10.
Yeah, it's better than what the mage is going to do.
Yeah.
Okay, that gets us to the Skull on a Stick.
It's a dominant what?
Skull on a Stick. It's a trinket. It's dominant.
A dominant.
So you're going to take it, and it's wizards only. At the beginning of the owning player magic phase, add X Veil tokens to the pool, where X is the number of friendly units in close combat lowered by Number of friendly units fleeing with a minimum 0 and a maximum of 3. I don't know what I just read. Okay, so you get Veil tokens, which are equal to the number of friendly units in close combat. And there's no range on this.
No.
And you deduct any fleeing units.
Yes. Remember the what do you want to call it? The legacy game that this was based on.
Yes.
The Orcs and Goblins got a bonus for having guys
Right.
fighting.
Yeah.
Penalty for fleeing. So
this is actually an
reversion.
item, and it only applies to the wizard. This will really help you.
I mean, it's giving you a max of +1 die per turn. +1 magic dice, because it's giving you 0 to 3 Veil tokens, which
Right.
trade in up
In
to
which
3
we
for a
understand
dice.
from the thing we just read, which was posted on the what was it, the blog, whatever.
It's in the blog.
We just read the magic rules, which we're getting to, but yeah. So that's a nice ability.
Yeah. Again, it looks like it'll generate.
Depending on how many points it costs.
It depends on how much points it costs.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, anyway, the next thing we have is the Backstabbing Dirk. It's a hand weapon or paired weapon enchantment.
That Dirk, he's such a backstabber.
It gives you lightning reflexes and lethal strike, and reroll to wound in a challenge. This could come in handy. I'm kind of liking this a little bit. You know, +1 to hit is nothing to.
Depends what it costs.
It always comes down to what it costs.
But,
I mean, if you can put this on a strength 5 orc, you're okay.
Yeah, no, if you put this on a high strength weapon, or a guy that has a lot of attacks.
Right. Well, we put it on. Yeah. Put on if a orc character can get paired weapons, do that. Now your strength 5 with lightning reflexes and lethal strike is actually
it's nice on an iron
sounds
orc.
decent.
It sounds nice on an iron orc character. It's just there might be things that you prefer to have, but
Correct.
that's what you always. That's back to the price again. But it's always about price, you know. Okay, the next trinket we're going to read about is a Crown of the Cavern King for X points. Goblins only. Cannot be taken by a towering presence, so you can't put it on a big spider. The wearer can only join or be joined by a unit if all its models share at least one model part of the same greenhide race with the wearer. Okay. The wearer's unit gains Vanguard and may move after rallying. So it kind of has. It does not gain ability to march or shoot, so it's kind of like a light version of whatever that fast cav rule was.
Right.
The wearer inspiring presence or hold your ground range is increased by 6.
So this is kind of standard what it is currently.
Right. I didn't remember the rallying part on it. But,
yeah, it really doesn't come into play much, but it's there.
Okay. So, yeah, this is
and the Vanguard part, you know.
Currently, it's
the way you've seen me play it. I've been playing it on a Wolf Rider, so the
Right.
Vanguard part's already there.
Yeah.
And so is the rally.
Well, this is really all about the 6-inch range anyway.
Right, it is.
So it's still there. So the goblins still.
It's a nice item.
Continue to get some love.
Mazza's Zappin' Bow, a weapon enchantment. It's a bow that hits on a 2-up, range 24, strength is user, multi-shot 3. The wielder's unit gains quick to fire.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's 3 shots that hit on 2, but they're strength 3 shots. I mean, it's nothing impressive. The only thing to use it for is if you want to try to give a unit quick to fire, is what it's all about. So it all depends on what that costs to see if that's worth it.
Yeah.
In general, the answer is no, but sometimes it is. I mean, if it's cheap enough, it'll be taken, and it'll be taken by some people just to play with it. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, there are some unique combos that you'd want to maybe do that with. If you want to play with crossbows for an orcs, I suppose, or
right. Anyway,
does the quick to fire? I mean, it's a nice thing to have with bowmen, but strength 3 bows. It's not. Just
that's the problem. Is it's
and you've got other things that you really want to do most of the time.
And
you tend to either want to. If you have orcs, you want to make them really fighty. If you have goblins, you want to help with your commands. So
right.
yeah.
And I mean, are you really going to pay for a character to hang out with a bow unit
Exactly.
and to take this magic item.
Yeah.
So, I mean there's too much going against it, in my opinion.
I mean,
but
I think if you're like bunkering up your general or BSB,
right.
behind lines, it's,
Why would you do that?
yeah.
I don't understand.
And you got a few extra points floating around. Maybe
Okay.
you do that. Maybe so the
Okay.
unit can, while it's maneuvering around to get decent shots behind your lines. It can.
Yeah, decent strength 3 shots.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's hitting a little bit more. Well, I mean, still, I'm not saying it's a wonderful thing, but just trying to think
Okay.
of examples of why you'd want to
I
use
mean,
it.
but that's what it is right now.
Yeah, I understand.
So,
I mean, so you don't really see it now, except for somebody who really wants to play with their crossbows. Plates of Tuck Tech, armor enchantment, suits of armor, suits of any armor. So it's I'm not sure.
No
So
matter
there's
what
light armor,
armor.
heavy armor, plate armor, and any armor.
Apparently.
Yeah, okay. +1 resilience, immune to lethal strike.
So this has changed because you lost the impact D3 impact
Right,
hits.
right.
But you did gain the +1 resilience.
Yes.
I mean,
+1
that's,
resilience.
sorry, that's always
It's
been
the
there.
same. It was just called toughness before.
Correct.
Yeah.
You did.
So-
you lost the +1 toughness, but gained
Exactly, but
+1
you gain resilience to make up for the loss of toughness.
Okay.
You're right, absolutely. And immune to lethal strikes always helpful. I always thought was a great item for
Oh, it's really good.
orc characters.
Orc
and,
character tough 6 is really nice.
I still think it's a great item.
Yeah, and again, based on the price, it probably will still be.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be pretty high for it not to be worthwhile.
The next thing we have is the Green Tide Banner Enchantment.
You have 3 of
Take
them.
up to 3 in your army. Unit gains fight in extra rank. So I'm curious. So I guess if you have a general, if you have a BSB and a banner, you get fight in 2 extra ranks.
I'm guessing that's what happens.
I can see that being abused a bit.
Yeah. Oh,
I'll take a bus of
maybe they're trying to make Iron Orcs
I'll take
played again.
or I'll take a bus of Ed Bashers with spears and
Yeah, that'll work too. Yeah.
fight in 5
So,
ranks, and it'll be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's once again what it costs, but it's a nice item.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, challenging with all these banners. When you do things with banners and characters, what ends up happening is people put it on their elite units and make them even more powerful.
Correct.
And you assume that these things are really intended for the
For a weaker unit.
for
to
the
bump
core
it up.
units so they can be a little more capable. But that's not what generally happens.
No, it's
so.
just a way to bump up your tougher,
Yeah, it just
stronger unit.
you just keep buffing the better units. So that's the only bad thing about it.
And you don't want to put a rule that the good unit can't use the magic banner,
Right.
because that doesn't make sense.
Doesn't
that
make
the best
sense.
unit can't use the
So yeah,
better banner.
so I'm not a fan of this is in the banner area. I think there's a better way to do this. But anyway, I think you'll see this banner occasionally.
I agree.
Who was up? Me.
You.
Axe of the wasn't it the Orc-pocalypse before?
Porcalypse.
Apocalypse. Okay.
Yeah, it's been there for a while.
Axe of the Apocalypse. I thought it was the Orc-pocalypse for some reason. The hand weapon, and it's not limited to orcs only. Enchantment, plus X strength, plus X attacks, plus X AP, where X is D3. So right now it's D6, correct?
No, it's
It's a D3? Okay, I couldn't remember.
D3. The one thing they did change is it's one die roll
Oh, instead of one for
instead
each.
of 3 rolls.
Yeah.
It used to be 2, but now they split arm.
Right.
strength and AP.
Right.
But I mean, that's the difference.
It was before. To me, it was a fun item because it cost so much. You couldn't really have much else. Still a fun item, I think.
It's still a fun item, and you can.
If they bring the cost down a little bit, it'll be a great item.
Yeah, I mean, even the way it was, you can run it and the plates
Yeah.
as it currently stands, and still
Yeah.
have room for a potion of
Yeah.
swiftness.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how I would know that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There you
Anyway.
go. But yeah, I mean, I always liked it before. That was a fun item. Still is.
So I mean, a lot of things like this one, plates of Tuck Tech are
It's the
close.
same.
So I
Yeah.
guess these 3 are pretty much exactly the same. The
Yeah.
Porcalypse, the Zappin' Bow, and the Crown.
Yeah. And Dirk Benedict's backstabbing Dirk is
That's changed a bit.
it's changed a bit.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And Mechanox totem is different.
It's different, as is the skull on a stick.
And the Panic Protection Pension is only different in the fact who can wear it.
It doesn't seem to be limited to goblins.
All right. And that's going to do that.
Which brings us a sneak peek.
2.
Exclamation point.
Exclamation
as opposed to 2A, which doesn't have an exclamation point. So here you go.
So now we're talking about Born to Fight.
Yeah.
And here where they're talking about Born to Fight originally was rejected because it was too strong.
Yes.
And now it's +1 strength, +1 AP. Modifiers are lost after the first round of combat unless the model's part unit is also on the winning side of the combat and has more full ranks than each other enemy unit engaged in the same combat. Once lost, this bonus is regained when the model parts unit is no longer engaged in combat.
So
do you understand what I said?
So I'm assuming it's well, I don't say too much. I think I understand it.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that are posting on the blogs not English isn't their first language, so it doesn't bother me. It's only when I see it in the rule book. So you get +1 strength, +1 armor penetration as long as you win, and you have more full ranks than the enemy.
Basically, yes. You only lose it. You lose if you win the combat and have more full ranks, then you keep it than everyone else.
So if you don't have more full ranks, you don't get it.
Correct.
Okay.
So anyway, it's what it is. It's just there.
Yeah, I'm still not. I'm not a fan.
I think it's overly complex for what it is, but whatever.
I don't mind I've never been a fan about this whole rank thing that they've taken from 8th edition, but I like the idea of like horde types of armies. Whether Orcs and Goblins are an example of that. Is when you've got more guys that they're gonna fight better and hang around better than when you have less guys in your opponent. So conceptually, I like. They've done it with ranks. I'd prefer they did it with models, but whatever. So I think that part's neat. But this is where I wish I think it'd be better if they had the instead of +1 strength, keep raising the elite units so they become more elite, and then you have to give all these buffs everywhere to make core units compatible.
Right.
Adding strength causes other challenges with the units. This is where I think the fight an extra rank would be a better option.
A better option.
And then something if you had more ranks that you didn't run away, basically.
Right.
That's what I like to see with the big horde blocks is that you just keep fighting and you become this anvil no one can get rid of until they wear you down, and while you're that big, more attacks are coming through. That's just me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. I think as an orc player, you like it.
Yeah, I mean it's got it. I mean. It's what it is now, but with a chance of keeping it.
Correct. Instead of just the first round.
So, yeah, correct.
So it's.
I actually kind of preferred the first way they did it, where it just if you won the combat, you kept it. Of course.
Right.
Of course, I preferred that because you were better.
Sure. Of course. I mean, you're basically strength 4, strength 5 for the entire combat, pretty much.
Correct.
Unless you're against really good guys.
Until you lose. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that...
And the better your strength, the more likely you are to win your combats.
The better it is, correct. So we go to the Warg. So the Warg is the general only now.
I was hoping they'd change the name on that.
Apparently not. Once per game, the Army General may declare a Warg. Start of any player turn, all friendly units gain +1 advance, +2 march rate, and swift stride until the end of the player turn. The +2 march, yeah, because it used to give you +1 movement.
Yeah.
So
you're a little faster.
And the thing they say, no longer orc only, yes. It now the
because so
all friendly units, including giants and trolls. Basically, if you take a goblin general, you get the warg.
Yep.
You can buy the warg.
Well, because
unless it's automatic.
Because everyone knows the orcs were much better than goblins in the current book, so it makes sense that they'd give the goblins
to give the goblins a slight boost.
Slight boost
because they needed it. Yes.
Yeah. Comparatively speaking.
Yeah, so I'm happy with that.
I'm happy with that. It's fine.
I actually like seeing it on the goblins as well.
I do too.
I just being an arm, being a. I didn't necessarily like the two having different abilities,
Yeah.
especially when the goblins was fight an extra rank. Who really wants 5 extra goblin attacks?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, is that what you're basing
No,
your game on?
I think it's fine.
So anyway, it's there. It's fine. I kind of like
It's
it.
flavorful for the army.
Yep. And let's back up and get to the sneak peek 2A.
2A. Without a
No, it's not as important.
no
as the
apostrophe.
two.
It's not as important.
Apostrophe?
Maybe it's a Canadian guy. Sneak peek 2A.
A?
The-
Orcs and Goblins sneak peek. So what we have here is the hereditary spell.
Yes, and just a reminder: every army now has a hereditary spell. I think when we saw them at first, it was like a trait or whatever. Anyway, so every army has their own unique thing, and this is the Orcs and Goblins one.
So what we have is Here We Go. That's an old name.
Yes, it is.
Failed to hit rolls with close combat attacks against the target must be re-rolled.
I always love to when they do
Failed to hit rolls with combat attacks against the target. Yes. So this is a
You
this
have
is
to
a
reroll.
hex.
Yes.
Yes. I don't want to reroll. I don't want to hit them. I like them. So this is a cast on an enemy unit. So this actually can benefit more than one of your units because it's cast on the enemy, and everyone fighting that unit gets this benefit. See what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Casting value is X.
It's 18.
Is X that Roman, so it's a casting value of 10.
It's 10 exactly.
Okay. With a range of 18, and it's a hex.
Yeah, that is a secret. We have to talk to Malcolm X to get the answer. Or is it? This is not triple X.
I think this is really good. I like having close rerolls to hit.
Yeah, those are.
Rerolls to hit is very important.
This is something. Yeah, I like to see. I like to see this in the army.
To an army without access to anything like hatred or whatever, this is a nice bump.
Right.
All right.
Because that's how you can get. Unfortunately, it's things like this that helps you get the core units, more fighty. The reality is
You're going to cast this on your spider.
you're casting this on your spider, or if you take iron orcs, or you take
Or your guy on the wyvern with
any-
his
yes.
apocalypse.
the little guys are hardly ever going to see it. It's going to boost the powerful units, not the small ones.
Correct. You're not casting this on a unit of goblins.
Yeah,
It's not happening unless you've got nothing else to do.
unless you got nothing else in range for some,
Right.
reason.
And that was that. And then I guess we have... What's this? We have the Sneak Peek 3.
Yes.
I just saved this one because it wasn't, for
It
whatever
wasn't-
reason,
they
the
haven't put-
link
they haven't
wasn't
put
working quite right.
Okay.
The Sneak Peek 3 is the Giant.
Yes, and we've seen some other giants. So this is the orc. This is the original giant.
The original Giant.
Yes.
So I would think
if
it
we
would
go
be
back to
better
the
than
game
all
that
the
shall not be
others.
mentioned. Yeah. So no, everybody else improves on the original.
Oh, that's true.
Exactly.
That is a good point.
Absolutely. You never want to be first to market. So, yeah. So it's basically got the same giant profiles we've seen before. It's Advanced 7, March 14, Discipline 8. The defense hit points are 7, so 1 additional hit point. Defense weapon skill, weapons defense, whatever it's called, is 3. Resilience which is old toughness, is 5. It has an armor save of 6, which is innate defense.
Which is odd, which is a little bit of a hit to him because the Giant used to be able to buy the 6-up ward, which is better than a armor,
Yeah,
but whatever.
I'm just curious. Armor save 6, I guess, because it's innate defense. It's not an armor save and an innate defensive. Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's got 5 attacks. Now giants have fixed numbers of attacks. Offensive weapon skills 3. Strength is down to 5, but do not despair. AP 2. Agility which is the old initiative, is still 3. So now you have the special things that are associated with the giant, which are different in different armies. So you have attack attribute melee.
I like this is what's interesting. 5 attacks at string 5. This has got what it takes to dish out the pain.
Yes.
No, 5 string 5 does not dish out the pain.
Not really, no.
Anyway, but moving on.
Unless it's on a guy that's on a 20 or 20 or 25 millimeter base. But so basically, the giants, as they take damage, so as they lose hit points, they gain in attack values.
Right.
So they swing more as they get weaker. Now, the special Orc and Goblin, and all giants have that we've seen so far.
The rage part of it.
The rage
yes,
part of it,
correct.
yeah. The Orc and Goblin. Let's see. Watch his specific weapons. Okay, so he gets born to fight. So, and the first round of combat, he's going to be strength 6 because of that. And
Correct.
if he can, he's never going to have more ranks unless he's fighting against a flyer.
Well, Giant does have a rank.
That's what I'm saying. But
Correct.
He's never going to have more.
Or
unless
an
he's fighting.
incomplete rank.
Yeah. So, or just a couple, or a character or something like that.
Correct.
So, so he's quite often not going to get it after the first turn of fighting.
Right.
So, but he'll still get it on. He'll get on the first turn. So, it'll be turn 6 on the first turn. Then you have the Giant Club, and so far it looks like all the Giants have this. So it's +1 strength and +1 armor penetration. So he'll be strength 7 on turn 1, and after that it'll be strength 6. So that's a boost to the Giant.
5 strength 7, on the other hand,
Yes.
does seem to bring out the pain.
Is a little bit more potent, yes.
Especially when he gets the Here We Go spell cast on him to re-roll his misses.
Exactly. And we scroll down.
Oh, yeah, I guess I should.
Yeah, and then we have another option, which is the Wrecking Ball instead of the Giant Club. It's a melee weapon. The wielder gains Fearless, so you don't have to worry about him failing fear checks. Random movement 3d6, so he just randomly goes in different directions. Shambolic.
Well, you pick the direction.
You pick the direction, but yes. So, but it goes whatever direction you want, and if he runs into somebody, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. He's got grind attacks, d6 plus X, where X is equal to the number of health points the model currently has below 7. So as he gets wounded, he gets grind attacks.
Yeah, his grind attacks increase.
And the wielder cannot perform close combat attacks. So basically, he just has grind attacks. And stomps, of course.
Where X is equal to the number of health points the Giant model currently has below 7.
So he starts off with 7.
So if I have 6 hit points, I have 6 health points.
So if you have 7, which are full strength, you get d6.
Okay.
And
if I have 5 health points,
you get d6 plus 2.
d6 plus 2, because where X is the number of health points I have below 7.
Right.
That's not quite written right, because I could interpret that to say I have 5, that's below 7, so I get 5 additional attacks. Right?
Is equal to the number of health points the model currently has below 7. I guess you can, I guess you can interpret it that way.
7, it just kind of needs to be
I guess you can interpret it that
better.
way. That's true. So yeah.
Anyway, but other than that, I think the intention is the same, to work the same as the rage.
Yes. I'm not a fan of this.
The question, I guess, wonder if grind attacks are going to benefit from Born to Fight. I don't think
Their
so.
special attacks are not.
Yeah, they're not close combat attacks.
So
you're
gonna be strength 5.
Yeah, and it cannot perform close combat. Yeah.
Yeah, you get your stomps. But,
so strength 5 attacks. Yeah, that's this is. I don't think this is going to not see much use.
I don't think so, unless it's going to be a discount from your Giants from taking the club,
or unless it gets something else out of this.
Yeah.
Which I'm not seeing, but.
Yeah, because you're stuck with random movement, 3d6, which isn't particularly fast.
Only strength 5.
And you're only strength 5.
That's the big thing to me.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, we have old favorites, not on the Giant, but okay, with new implications. Nets, same as the Goblin Nets, penalty to strength and AP for enemy units of base contact, a roll of basically 1 through 5, and then penalty on the Giant rest of the time. I think this is a really nice upgrade. The unit, he's toughness 5, so there's a lot of strength 4 guys out there, you can get them to a
strength 3.
Strength 3. All of a sudden, you just have their ability to wound you.
That's true.
It's that's a really nice upgrade.
And they talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
They say same as Goblin Nets. Goblins only pay 2 points for their nets.
Yeah.
He's going to pay 2 points.
Yeah, that'd be something.
I'm guessing that's going to be a bit more than that.
Probably not.
This is okay. You're making your guy defensive instead of offensive because you lost that club's +1 strength and AP.
Have you lost the club?
Yeah, you choose every other Giant we've seen picks one weapon.
But does this count as a weapon? You don't lose your weapon with your goblins.
Oh, that's a good point. If this is something you can have in addition to the club,
same as Goblin Nets,
then if it's the same as that's a good point.
Yeah, no, if it was in place of the weapon, it's awful. But
Oh, I initially just assumed this was going to be in place of the weapon.
Yeah, I didn't because it doesn't say melee weapon.
Yeah,
I just assumed it was an upgrade like the other ones.
Well, they say they are weapon options.
Yeah, there.
Up there.
And then talks about the 2 weapon options, and finally return an old favorite. And
okay, wow, this thing's scrolling.
Yeah, had that problem.
Okay, anyway. Okay.
So I'd assume you can get both of them. If you can only get the one, then then I don't think it's...
if you can only get the net, if you can't do the net and club, then I think the club is the choice, hands down, of all 3 of these. Always.
Right. Yeah, the club is the hands down.
Okay. Yeah, the question...
If the net is an upgrade, then you're gonna see the, unless it all depends on points, as we keep saying, but you'd see the club and the nets.
Yeah, if it says down there at the bottom, there's a tough choice as to whether to take the wrecking ball, the net, or the club.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's a choice. I don't think it's an addition.
Yeah, maybe. Then it's not any good.
Well, I mean, you use your giant as a debuff guy, and he goes in and knocks the unit down to strength for anybody else.
Like I can use a unit of goblins that are cheaper.
That's not reducing their strength.
Yeah.
And you're giving them tons of combat res. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the new giant.
Yeah.
And those are the sneak peeks that have been released for the orcs.
As of this moment. By the time we post this, there's probably like 3 more.
There will, but now we're getting close.
Yeah, we're getting close.
2.0 is going to be released tomorrow, I've heard.
Yeah.
Blonde beer told me.
I think a glass of beer told you. That doesn't count.
Blonde beer told me it would be released before the end of next year.
Maybe we need to come back.
So that means today.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, absolutely. Yes, it means
not before December.
Clearly, they're already late.
Yeah, there you have it.
Because it is before next year and it hasn't been released yet.
All right.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. No, we're not doing that.
We don't have to do that.
Yeah,
this is an oops moment.
This is an oops moment.
As we were closing up the video, we went, wait a minute, we read something about the Great Green Idol.
And we didn't add it to the list.
And it wasn't in our list. And we looked, and it looks like they haven't, it's so new that they haven't had a chance to update the general forum with a link to it. So we went into the Orc forums and bring you sneak peek number 4.
All right. So
by Beer Beard.
By Beer Beard.
We found someone who's actually older than us.
I did. It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
We didn't think it was possible.
So the model, the Great Green Idol, the model is going to gain unstable when unit consisting entirely with models of supernal lose a combat. The unit must take a break test.
Yeah, supernal. I hope they change that name.
If the break test is passed, ignore all health points that would be lost due to unstable. So it's not the crumble thing. So you are rolling a break test.
Yes.
It's not the undead crumble. It's the old unstable crumble. Okay. So you make a break test, and if you fail, you lose a hit point for every point you lost. You missed the save by your break test by. Okay.
I'm sorry. How is that different?
There's no die roll if you're undead. If you're the crumble. The crumble, you lose by 1, you take a wound. This one, you make a die roll, and maybe or maybe not.
It's like the demons, yes.
Correct. It's the demon rule, not the undead
yes,
rule.
Yes.
Okay. So he gains that rule. He gains unstable, so he now doesn't... He's in fact unbreakable because he's not breaking.
Right.
But...
No, he's literally breaking apart.
He breaks apart rather than breaking and run.
Exactly. He doesn't run.
So, in that way... I'm assuming it doesn't say so, but I'm guessing because of this, he gains the 5 upward save.
He's got...
Because
we're assuming he has supernal. He says it has supernal.
Yes, and I believe...
Which is...
used to give... If that's replacing, I believe that
we
gave
believe
you the 5
that's
upward.
replacing supernatural or whatever it was called.
Right.
Which would be better than supernal, but...
Right. So I think you're gaining a 5 upward save on this monster.
Yes.
Which would be fantastic.
I want to know who the guy is that's got the thesaurus out on the 9th H team that finds... Let's pick this word because...
Yeah. Anyway. And then they've changed the buff he gives everybody around him. It used to be +1 to wound or +1 attack.
Yes.
So now, if you're within, and that used to be within 8 inches.
Yes.
So now, if you're within 6 inches, you gain +1 offensive skill. You really shouldn't do that. Which might give you a +1 to hit.
Okay.
It might give you a +1 to hit.
What else do we have?
And if you're within 6 inches of one or more Great Green Idol that's engaged in combat, you gain an additional +1, so you're +2 offensive skill.
Okay. And what else?
That's about it.
Did they give him? Does he have more wounds?
It doesn't say.
Does he have more?
What are you asking?
More wounds? Does he have a higher leadership?
It doesn't say.
Because he's what now? What's
8.
He's an 8.
8.
So if you roll high, you can get still in big trouble.
Well, he's got like 6 wounds, so if you roll, you can't kill him. You can't lose in one round.
Can't lose him in one round of combat.
Except for the fact that you've already taken wounds if you're losing, probably. But
yeah, I think this one is yeah.
Okay, I think
we have to see the actual.
Yeah. Anyway,
short and show everything.
All
together.
jokes aside,
Yeah.
I think it is better. They've made it a better fighting piece, and its combat value went up because it doesn't break.
It doesn't break, so it no longer gets chased away by fast
Correct.
cab charging it in the
just
flank.
dies in place. But
Yeah.
but no. What I was saying though is its combat value got better in my opinion because with if it is getting the 5 upward, and it's now in effect
resilience has gone up.
Its resilience
It's now better anvil.
Correct, but
you can send it in, and if you can hold out for until your next phase, you might be able to get somebody moving over.
The buff is just awful.
The buff is awful.
+1 offensive skill. That's just awful.
The buff is awful.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this might if that happens to cross one of the boundaries, it might give you a +1 to hit.
And it might
it's
not.
highly doubtful against with low.
I mean, it might help your goblins skill. Out. Maybe you'll be even instead of one worse.
That doesn't help.
Yeah,
that doesn't help you.
Oh no, your offense. Yeah,
it's offensive skill.
Yeah.
If you're 3 to their 4, 2 to their 3.
Well, if you're +2,
if you're +2, you might bump above them.
You might bump above them if they're crappy.
Which means +1 to hit, unless they have parry, and then it does nothing for
parry
you
or whatever. But
correct.
This is not good.
Again, as the plus they gave you here with the combat ability, they took away here.
I don't mind that. It's the ability that it gives. I think.
Yeah, like I said, the ability is just garbage
because it's not a super fighty thing as it is. Does it have 3 attacks?
It's got 3 attacks at weapon skill 2,
and a stomp.
I'm assuming it's giving itself weapon skill.
Yeah, I would assume so.
That's going to bump it up to 3, maybe 4 if it's fighting.
Because it doesn't do a lot of damage, so it's losing against. If you can't stomp somebody, it's probably losing against them.
Well, I didn't consider this. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, think about this. So, now in combat, you have 1 weapon skill 4 crush attack.
That's true.
Instead of a weapon skill 2 crush attack.
Yes.
So there you go. It's much better. So moving on.
It's for the crush attack. Okay.
Moving on.
Well, I mean, we'll have to see. Hopefully, they do more with it than what they've done.
We'll see.
Yeah, but if they're going to continue as a buff that doesn't do a lot of damage itself, then that buff needs to be a lot better. Needs to be better
than what that is. +1 offensive skill. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So other changes they're listing is unruly is no longer an army special rule.
It's kind of too bad.
It is. It's the last piece
vestige
of animosity.
Of animosity, yeah.
It's kind of going away, and it says that right there. Last vestige of animosity.
Yeah.
I mean, animosity had to go for Orcs and Goblins to be anywhere near.
No, it was a terrible rule for competitive purposes.
Right.
Absolutely.
It was a good fluff rule,
until that key charge and you rolled a 1.
Correct.
Yeah. No problem with that. But I kind of like the direction that it took. It gave a little flavor to the army.
Yeah.
But okay.
So other than that, common and feral orc warlords may now take bows. That's awesome.
Okay.
Warboars are now strength 4, AP 1. and they still get devastating charge +1.
That's a nice.
So we got our strength 5.
So the boars are back
on
to
charge.
back to strength 5 on the chart, because it used to be in the game that never shall be mentioned. It was the boars that would often do the damage.
Correct.
So no, that's nice. I mean, it still doesn't make them great, but
Because at least the boars got to go before they died.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, any little buff, because cavalry has
Correct.
so many challenges right now.
Yeah. Feral Orc Boar Riders and Ed Basher, I'm assuming this is Feral Ed Basher Boar Riders,
Yeah.
gain devastating charge +1 attack. This would be fantastic if this was all Ed Basher Boar Riders.
Yeah.
But I think this is just going to be Feral Ed Basher Boar Riders. Devastating charge. So they lost the additional attack because of Frenzy. No longer gives you the +1 attack. And
Is that official?
what? What are you saying? Yeah. It's been out there. I've seen
Okay.
that on the board. I mean, it's been out there. That's out there.
I've seen this. Wasn't sure if it was official.
It is.
Okay.
Well,
So, yeah.
I don't know. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I have seen it posted on a message
Yeah.
in the public forum.
Yeah.
From what I have read,
the
that is the Frenzy's no longer giving you the +1 attack, and this is giving it back to
this
you.
would just compensate for it. Mm.
Right. Hopefully it's devastating charge +1 attack with your lance bonus as well, or whatever, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, that's going to be interesting, because now the devastating. I mean, we get to see this. The way this is written, you can't be sure about some of the things, you know, because
Exactly.
till you see the whole profile. Because devastating charge is now whatever bonus you get on charging is. Old Thunder's charge is gone, so it could.
Correct.
So I'm
Like this is saying devastating charge +1 strength +1 AP.
right.
So is this going to be +1 devastating charge +1 strength +1 AP +1 attack?
No,
you
I
have
think
a light
this is
lance.
correct. Oh, if you have, because I think that's tied to the weapon.
Correct. But what weapon is that tied to?
Yeah, light lance, it would be +1
+1
strength
+1 +1.
and +1 AP, and lance, if they have them still, would be +2 strength +2 AP.
In addition to the
In addition to the
attack.
+1 attack, that's
I
how I
would
would
think,
interpret
but
that.
we
Yeah,
don't, we won't know until we see
yeah.
it.
But if you don't take the lance, if you take like the 2, because you can still take 2 hand weapons,
Paired
I would
weapons,
guess, paired
probably,
weapons.
I would hope.
So you get, the Ed Bashes are strength 4. You get your Born to Fight, makes you 5. So you get 2. So you get 3 attacks at strength 5. On the charge.
Right.
It's not too shabby.
Which is what you do right now if
Yeah.
you're frenzied.
Exactly.
So it's basically keeping them the same.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Right. So maybe we'll see.
Anyway. But anyway, and then coming up, there will be
Changes of Shambolic and
Shambolic
Ricochet.
and Ricochet coming up.
Hopefully they get rid of them.
Maybe get rid of the names.
No, I think when you need a page of rules to talk about one attack capability,
Yeah.
that I think something's gone wrong.
Well, on the gets a little bit less excessive than what it used to be, because it used to only apply to the wrecking teams and the Madgets.
Yes.
Now it applies to giants with wrecking.
Oh,
ball.
with the Wrecking Ball.
So now
correct,
there's
yeah.
3 units that need that rule, so it's much more understandable.
There you go. No,
No.
I'm hoping they.
And then you need 2 rules for 2. There's 2 units
Yes.
that need this rule. Anyway.
So I'm just hoping they go in a different direction.
Actually, I guess one more because the scrap wagon.
Yeah, I don't expect it, because this is just a tweaking of the army books for this version, but hopefully they'll do something radically different.
Anyway, that's it. Just wanted to add this little bit to the end.
So that's
before we
the
forget
bit
it.
that we forgot, and now
And
now
don't
we've
have
added it.
Exactly. Now we didn't forget it.
Yes.
Thanks for listening.